Their names were Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. Their murders stunned the country. And the man convicted of killing them was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, after acknowledging in open court to having stabbed the roommates and friends to death in their beds. But now, in a stunning new development, this man on your screen, 31-year-old Brian Kohberger, apparently has buyer's remorse. He is now trying to claw back his guilty plea. He's blaming ineffective counsel. In a new handwritten court filing, Kohberger scrawling, quote, petitioner was convinced to falsely confess by coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of evidence, end quote. Specifically, Kohberger claims, and I'm going to use another one of his quotes, unknown hair found in Ethan Chapman's hands. Kohberger also seemed irate at his attorneys for, quote, misrepresenting what life in prison would be like. He now says he'd rather risk the death penalty with a new trial than spend the rest of his life in prison. Here's the thing. Under Idaho law, he may have an opening. It's small. But in a lengthy statement to the New York Times, we're hearing directly from Kohberger for the first time. He wrote this: "It is self-evident that justice was not served. The truth shall never be derived from the state's myopic narrative, a work of fiction." And that quote, circumnavigated by a broken plea, the trial never provided the public the clarity conducive to closure. Desperate ramblings from a killer with little else to lose? Or does Kohberger actually have a chance at a new hearing? Potentially even freedom? Let's bring in someone who knows this case inside out. Ashleigh Banfield, host of the Drop Dead Serious podcast and NewsNation contributor. It's always good to see you, Ashleigh. Welcome back.
Hi, Hannah. Good to see you.
Always good to see you. Let's dive in. Why do you think that Kohberger is seeking to overturn his waiver of appeal and his plea deal? Do you think he simply wants another day in court? Does he want more attention? What's going on here?
2 words. He's bored. Life in prison is really awful. And when you're his age, you're facing about 70 years of this last 1 year that he's had. He didn't like his last year. He's been in solitary. It's boring. He's tired of it. He's got a massive ego and he wants to be relevant again and he wants to be heard. As far as whether he has a shot here, I would say a snowball's chance in hell.
So you don't think that we could hear from Kohberger again after he publicly admitted his guilt in a court of law with his attorneys present?
Not only did he publicly admit his guilt, but the judge went a step further and said, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty? Or are you pleading guilty because it's just paperwork and you know those pesky deals that people make? And he answered yes. So I say not a snowball's chance in hell, because this is a criminology student who was in a PhD program and who intelligently, according to the judge's own words, made this freely and voluntarily in court. What it comes down to is, and I know we're all a bit shocked, right? Because I heard last year at this time, and you heard last year at this time, that you're going to make this deal and you waive your right to appeal in the future. So what is this? What are you doing? It's narrow. You do have the right to appeal when you think your attorney may have screwed you. The truth is, Ann Taylor could not be a better attorney. She saved that man's life. She did everything. So Brian Kohberger, show us the money. What evidence do you actually have? It's one thing to scratch your little waiver out on toilet paper in your cell and file it with the court. It's another thing to show us the money. And me thinks he doesn't have the money. I don't think there's clumps of hair in Ethan Chapin's hands, because this is the highest profile case Idaho has arguably ever had. And they would have seen that, and it would have been a big piece of Ann Taylor's case. And Ann Taylor doesn't want to lose a case, so she would have said, no plea deal. We've got great evidence that will prove your innocence. So all of it is bunk.
Do you think the motivation behind this to overturn his waiver of an appeal has any chance of succeeding, given that the Supreme Court has overturned appeal waivers in the past? And the case in which the court overturned the waiver was also an Idaho state case, of course, the same place where Kohberger's appeal will be heard.
You are right about the 2019 case, and it does make people a little bit nervous that the Idaho courts have said before, oh dear, remember that guy who pleaded guilty and waived his right to an appeal? We need to give him his second bite at the apple. They've done that before. Does that mean that Kohberger's going to get it? No. Apples and kumquats. Honestly, you've got to have a robust argument for ineffective assistance of counsel. You can't just say, I was cheated. I didn't get it. You can't do that. You have to show us the money. And I don't believe for an instant that there's some magical discovery that was somehow suppressed from his view, as he asserts on his toilet paper claim, which suggests he didn't do it. I think this is all just because he's terribly, terribly bored, and maybe buyer's remorse. Yeah, lots of it.
There's a book that's being talked about a lot. It's written by a defense expert called Broken Plea. It draws on material never seen in court. It helped Kohberger come up with this angle of an appeal, in your opinion? Because he uses the phrase broken plea a lot in his latest comments.
Yeah, he thinks he's smarter than he is. Obviously, he's the dumbest criminal I've seen a lot of dumb criminals. He's among them. He left part of the murder weapon at the scene.
Yeah.
That's 101 crime. So, idiot to start with. And number two, he thinks he knows more about the law than everybody else. And the truth is, ineffective assistance of counsel is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would come back and say, wait a minute, I didn't get it. None of that made any sense to me, and I've been cheated. I need another go round. That doesn't happen. It's extremely difficult. And regardless of this fella's book, and I've seen his claims, once again, show us the evidence. Don't just talk about magical phantom sorcery. Show us the evidence. And I think that that's the point where the judge is going to say, summarily dismissed. I'm sorry. The evidence just isn't there. Now, does that mean he's going to get that little rat face back in a courtroom in Idaho? That's a good question, and I'm not sure of that. Every jurisdiction is a little different, Hannah, but I really hope not, because I think he wants a different kind of bologna sandwich. He wants a different cell, and he wants a free day out of the Idaho max. He just wants to go on a field trip.
Because he's very bored, apparently, in court. Yeah.
Listen, can I just say something about that, Hannah?
Please.
But there's one thing, like, I know a lot of people are very upset about this, me included.
Yeah.
But I'm upset for a different reason. I'm only upset for what the Gonzalezes and the Chapins and all of the victims' family members and friends have gone through. I'm not upset about the process because I believe it's going to hold fast. But what I do sort of take joy in is that it does prove he hates where he is. And for those of us who were upset that maybe he didn't get the death penalty, I'm not necessarily among them, but there were a lot of people very upset that he got the death penalty. Well, you should probably be thrilled to know that only 1 year into probably a 70-year sentence, he's miserable, absolutely miserable.
I see people here in the studio nodding around me. Ashleigh Banfield, it's always great to have you, my friend. I'll see you soon. Thank you again.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.